afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Pauline Makoma. I am the youth commissioner in the state of Utah. And for the past 2 years, we organize events to get the youth together. So this is quite an exciting opportunity for me to be here and hosting this panel. As Amanda mentioned, our panel is Youth, the Anchor for the Future Knowledge and Skills Transfers. It aims to mobilize Rwandan youth in the U.S., many of whom have built successful careers in top institutions, to reconnect with Rwanda and explore how their skills and experiences can support national development. All right, allow me to introduce our panelists. Please help me in welcoming them to the stage. First, we have Honorable Joseph Nsengimana. He serves as the Minister of Education, where he leads national efforts to strengthen the country's education system and equip young people with skills needed for a competitive global economy. Welcome. Next up, it is an honor to introduce Dr. Margit Enzyne, who serves as the president of the American University in Bulgaria. She previously led the American University in Nigeria for 8 years, where she was recognized for her leadership in education and development. Welcome. Dr. Enzyne is also a longtime friend of Rwanda, and she has extensively written about the country's remarkable progress and continues to advocate for education and a catalyst for positive change. Welcome. Thank you for being with us. Next up, we have Captain Eliane Mwiza. She's a distinguished helicopter pilot in the Rwandan Air Force. She's recognized for graduating among the top of her class from Akagera Aviation Training School, where she earned Best Czech Ride Performer. She has served on multiple deployments within the United Nations mission in South Sudan, contributing to peacekeeping operations as a co-pilot. Currently serving as captain, she is committed to mentoring the next generation of Rwandan youth, exemplifying discipline, innovation, and dedication to our country. Please help me welcome Captain Eliane. Last but not least, it is also an honor to introduce Gael Karomba, who is a Rwandan-American serial entrepreneur and investor advancing Rwanda's creative, sports, and tourism sectors. He founded Happy Haven, a mental health organization in the United States, and is active in real estate. In Rwanda, he founded Kigali Universe, a premier sports and entertainment complex. He invested in UGB, a professional basketball team in the top league, and launched 155 AM, a musical label and studio. Gael is passionate about entrepreneurship, sports, and also bridging diaspora opportunities with Rwanda's development. Welcome, Gael. All right, this is an exciting time. I would like to start off with you, Honorable Minister Nsengimana. Rwanda's education system has undergone many reforms over the years, and recently you announced a new set of changes. What is different about these latest reforms, and do you believe they'll bring lasting change to the sector?
Well, thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to actually say hello to everybody. Glad to be back here in the U.S. And be part of this great convention. Thank you for your question. I think what you can see, if you want to look at the education system in Rwanda, you have to really look at it in two parts. First and foremost, the mission was to ensure that all Rwandan kids have access to education. So if you look at starting in 1994, the efforts that the government has made was to ensure that any Rwandan, regardless of the circumstances, can actually go to school. So now we are in the midst of the second part, which is to increase the quality of the education. And so, yes, there have been quite a lot of changes that took place in the education system, but you have to think of it in the context. You had the system that was already existent in Rwanda pre-1994, which was decimated by the genocide against the Tutsis, with teachers that were killed, and so you had to rebuild it from scratch. But you also had to marry it with other systems that were coming from Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, where people were coming from. So it did take quite a lot of effort to actually harmonize the education system and to make sure that the first objective was achieved. Today, I'm happy to report that any Rwandan kid who desires to go to school can go to school. And that is a big achievement if you compare to the pre-1994. The second part is that there was elimination of the tuition. So you go to school right now for primary and secondary, you actually don't pay tuition. There are some contributions that the parents make, but the actual tuition that goes to paying teachers and building schools, that comes from the government. And so that was to really facilitate that effort to make sure that there is complete access. And the second part is we now have the school feeding program. This was also another effort by the government to increase access to education and to encourage all kids to come to school. And I'm actually very glad that this community has contributed, have taken part to the Sangire Lunch, which is a great program. And so I encourage you all to remain committed to that program because it's actually making a big difference back home. Now, if I come back to the changes we recently announced, it's part of what I said to increase the quality of education. So if you look at the two major changes we've announced in the last three weeks or so, one was around the curriculum for the lower primary, that is primary 1, 2, and 3. And it was really designed to ensure that the curriculum that's in place fits the instructional time, the available instructional time, and then to focus the work so that the competencies that are desired at the end of the lower primary are actually achieved. So if you think about this, what do you want the kids to have when they finish lower primary? Reading and understanding, and arithmetic, and a bit of awareness of science and the new technologies around them. So we focus that and make sure that the kids have a curriculum that is streamlined and that fits the instructional time around that. So that was the first reforms that was announced. The second one was around secondary education. So we wanted to ensure that when students complete their secondary education, they actually have a well-rounded skills and knowledge so that they're able to broaden their choices at the university. What we had before, which was to serve its purpose, was over-specializing children before they finish secondary education. And so they had very little choice as what they can do in higher education. So we want to really ensure that we don't limit the choices, but we increase the choices for them. And so those were the second set of changes that were introduced. Now, can I guarantee there won't be any more changes? No, I can't, right? We live in a world that changes all the time. What we want to make sure is that the changes that are being proposed or introduced actually are fit for purpose. Why are you introducing the change? And how are you going to measure that those changes actually sticks? Those are the things we should focus on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I like that, and I like the fact that change, there might be more changes. Change is the only thing that's constant, but you guarantee that those changes are to better the education. I would also like to know, in the audience, we have quite a few Rwandan professionals, not a few, a lot more, professionals that have diverse academic backgrounds, and a number of them have benefited from the government education sector. For those wondering how they can support your vision for education, what practical advice would you offer them?
Well, thank you very much. Actually, I think Wilson touched on it just earlier, right? He just told us about how we can pay, I was going to say pay forward, but it really is pay backwards, right? Because you've been supported, so support others. So for those who were on the government-sponsored program, I think it's important that you participate in this effort that BRD is leading on so that we can we can get the resources to support the young students who are in the system right now. So we can start there. But to take advantage of the broad expertise that exists within the diaspora, we are actually working on a system, a platform, that is going to allow you to see the needs that are there in Rwanda, and then you'll be able to self-match, meaning that you will see what's needed, and if that fits within your interest and your skills, you can actually raise your hand and we'll connect you to that specific needs. And this is going to work also on the other side as well. So you don't have to actually wait for a need to be posted there. You can, yourself can say, I have this set of skills, I'm interested in doing X and Y, and this is what I would bring, this is the time frame that I'm looking at, this is how much time so we want to be able, the platform has to facilitate both sides, coming from the need, but also coming from the offer. So that's the system we're working on. And actually, if there are volunteers who would be interested in helping us build that system, please, let me know. I'm looking for those people.
I think I'm part of those people, and I would love to help. But thank you for sharing practical steps that we can take and how we can all contribute to strengthening Rwanda's education sector. Of course, education is not only a national issue, it's also a global one. So with that, I would like to turn to Dr. Maggie Ensign, whose International Leadership in Education offers valuable insights for Rwanda. Dr. Ensign, given your long-lasting friendship with Rwanda and commitment to youth education and leadership development, what lessons can Rwanda draw from global education models to nurture future-ready leaders? And what resources, whether domestic or international, can be leveraged to achieve this?
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with all of you. And share a little bit of what I've learned. I've had the privilege of being a university president on 3 continents, the US and Europe and sub-Saharan Africa for many years. And I've learned a lot of lessons, but let me just share one that I learned recently that I think it's really important for the youth who are here, and that's what this panel is about. So when I became president of my current university, my first week I decided to go for a run on a Saturday morning, very early in the morning. I thought everybody was asleep. And it was an indoor track, so I thought, I'd be by myself, and I kind of wanted to be. And I ran around that track, and I looked down in the sports field, and there were about 20 tables of students, maybe 6 or 8 around a table with 2 or 3 adults with them. And I thought, wow, what would bring students to the sports hall to talk at 6:30 on a Saturday morning? So I went down, and what I realized was what was happening there had been going on for 20 years at the university and had created the business and the entrepreneurial leaders of the country. And I think it's worth sharing because I think it's replicable anywhere. So what was in front of me was something called Elevate. And students were told, come up with a great idea, an entrepreneurial idea that will change the country, and we, the university, would fund it, the top 3 with $10,000. I thought, well, I better know about this, right, if I'm paying for it. So it's an extraordinary program where youth are mentored by alums to come up with a business idea, fully executed, to present it, and then the top 3 are funded. So I started, and this program has created the tech industry in the entire Balkan region, because those alums don't just help them with the challenge, they mentor them for the first year. So as I thought about Rwanda and the youth here, and the youth in Rwanda, you're a very fast-growing country. Your population rate is at 2%, you're doubling every 35 years. So what I think we need to be focusing on is job creation and youth employment, and not just wealth creation. So a program like this, where young people in the country, perhaps at the university, take on the challenges that the RSSB said that you talked about: health, agriculture, tourism, whatever you want to focus on. And you say to these young people, come up with great ideas. And then those of you in the audience who have extraordinary experience in business and so many fields could be the mentors as well as people in the country. And I think something like this might be really transformative in Rwanda, to create wealth, to connect the diaspora with the youth who are there. So that's one piece. The second lesson I've learned was a much harder one. I was in northeast Nigeria when this terrorist group called Boko Haram rose up. And what does a university do when 300,000 refugees flow into your town, 20,000 orphans, there's no food, there's no education? And we had a choice either to evacuate, and I had a meeting with everybody, do you want to evacuate or do you want to stay and try and solve this? And everyone said, we will stay. It transformed the university, it transformed the students, because every student and every department had to come up with a solution to what we were dealing with. So journalism said, we will write radio shows to teach literacy. Everyone fed 50,000 people a week. Now, I wouldn't want any university to go through that, but those are the young people who started the Lagos Tech Hub. Why? Because education, in my view, is not just knowledge, it's not just experience, it's learning how to solve problems and having the confidence that you can do it and the courage to take them on. So I guess the two lessons I have learned from my many years as a university president is make sure young people have the knowledge and skills and the confidence needed now for the world we live in, which is very different, which is about solving enormous problems, and help them become innovators and entrepreneurs and fund them to solve some of these strategic challenges that you have. So thank you for the question.
Thank you, Dr. Enzyme, for reminding us of global lessons we can apply to nurture leadership and innovation in Rwanda. Now let's hear from someone who embodies those values in action, Captain Yadmiza, whose journey as a captain in helicopters in Rwanda Air Force is an inspiration to so many of us, including myself. Captain Mwiza, can you share with us what inspired you to join the Rwanda Defense Force, and become a pilot, especially considering the challenges that you faced as a young girl with such an ambitious dream?
Thank you for the question. First of all, let me say muraho. Muraho neza. I'm so honored to be here and to be talking to so many young people in this room. And what inspired me was that I always loved to look up to the brave men and women who liberated our country and have fought for it. And at a young age, I always ask myself, what would I do to serve my country? What can I do for my country? Then from there, I was like, I think I should join the other brave men and women who joined the liberation journey and liberated our country. Then from there, I was like, but that's obvious. But what can I do that is unique? Then I said, why not be a pilot? Then that's when I decided I will be a pilot, not only a pilot in the civil companies, but in the army. So that's what motivated me, and that's what made me choose this career. And about the challenges, as it was not, as the piloting is not a farm for many women, it was really challenging. I used to doubt myself, others used to doubt me, but I was like, if I do this and if I succeed, the success will not only be for me, but for other young women and men who are asking themselves, what's the dream? Is my dream going to come true? So that's what really motivated me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's such a beautiful story. And as I remember earlier, Ambassador Mukanda mentioned that the youth has grown in an environment where gender is the norm. And I think you really exemplified that in your result of that. So thank you for sharing your story with us. and continuing the theme of turning ambitions into action, let's turn it up to Gael Karomba as a successful entrepreneur who's helping shape Rwanda's creative economy both at home and abroad. Mr. Karomba, how can the diaspora unlock full potential of Rwanda's creative economy, especially in the sports and entertainment industry? But I would also like to just add a question to that. Can you also talk about your work ethic and your discipline? And I think they say whom much is given, much is required. We have opportunities, but we also have distractions. Can you also talk about that as well? Thank you.
Thank you so much. But first of all, I'm from here, I'm Diaspora myself. Nikambanzi suza abavyeyi people say aba Diaspora muraho murakomeye. Nari mbakumbuye cyane. Yeah. So that's a great question. Actually, I get asked that a lot because I'm not from a background of music or sport or anything, and actually, my background is mathematics. You know, I studied math in my college and master's degree. I mastered in statistics, so I'm a numbers person. Even my first business here was not related at all on entertainment or sport, and you know, I was just doing other things. But then when the time came, I went to Rwanda and found myself, you know, being called Coach Gael. In the entertainment and sports industry. So someone would ask me, why did you do that? As every good entrepreneur, I saw two things. I saw a gap and I saw an opportunity. So there was really a great gap in Rwanda, not only in Rwanda, but in East Africa, when it comes to the creative industry, the sport industry. There is no investors into those sectors. So there was that need. And another thing is, it's the opportunity that I saw. Actually, let me first lay this foundation for a lot of young people, brothers and sisters who are here. There's never been a better time than being an African creative than today. This is the best time. And I'll tell you why. From usually in the past, the Western world used to consume our art, to consume our songs and everything and our sports, but we're never recognized. But today, for the first time, when you see the Davidos, the Burna Boys filling up stadiums all over Europe, also here in America, when you sing from the Tyler to Terms, you know, topping charts everywhere. When you see the Trevor Noah, you know, they're being called to host the Grammys. Now, African designers, African filmmakers are winning global awards. This is our time. This has never happened before. But right now, they are not only consuming our art, they are also recognizing it. And Rwanda, to me, is the best country right now that's positioned to really receive most of those benefits, and I will tell you why. You might say that I'm biased because I'm Rwandese, but I'm biased with, you know, because I have facts. So right now, I think with the great leadership we have, our policy, we have, I think, the top infrastructures of sports and entertainment in Africa. You know, from BK Arena to Amahoro Stadium. So those are things that really puts us in a position to really be on that global stage. But not only that, in terms of infrastructures, Rwanda has become a hub of events, you know, from hosting Trace Awards, like those global awards, to hosting the most prestigious basketball leagues like BAL. We were also in the discussion to host the Grammys And I think also we are hosting very soon the Cycling World Cup this year. And we also had some in the conversation. Maybe I'm not informed of hosting Formula One. No. No. So I always tell young people, even though Rwanda might be considered small, we are small, but we have a big vision. So, and that really puts us and puts our local talents on this spotlight that can really put them on those global stages. So those are the things that we really have that are going for us. But there's still some gaps. And that's why right now we're addressing the diaspora. The gaps we still have, the number one challenge right now is the mindset. You know, investors, some of our elders here, parents, you still think that sports and music cannot be a career. Ibintu by'imiziki ni ibyo ku cyumweru sha. Uraririmba sha ariko ujya wiga. You know, because that's the mindset we have. You know, and even for some, and it's sad, but even for some policymakers, they still think that entertainment cannot really be a driver for the economy. But that's not true. Because right now, when actually you do some research, you realize that the entertainment industry of Nigeria contributes $300 million every year to the GDP of that country. And that number grows 13% every year. When you see just a small example that happened, actually, I think a couple months ago, Chris Brown, he went to perform in South Africa. They paid him around $2 million. For some people, you'd be like, no, $2 million for someone to come perform? So for some people, can't even understand. But right now, it's documented. While he was there, that week, the economy of Johannesburg, they did make more. Actually, they say some research they say was about 40 million, but just go on the lower side. They said between 20 to 30 million dollars. The economy, just one person being in one city for 1 week, thousands of jobs were created. More than 100,000 tourists came from all over the world just to come and see him perform. So can you imagine one day a Rwandese musician or an athlete being our national pride like that? Because this is this is the difference between the entertainment industry and other sectors. Because it doesn't only have the potential to drive the economy, the tourism, but also it has this potential to build national pride and global presence. No, you might own a lot of real estates in Kigali, but you will never be invited on a global stage here in America and come up the stage with the flag of Rwanda. But a musician or an athlete can be the best in the world and be invited here, and they will just wrap him in the Rwandan flag. So I think the gaps we still have, the mindsets, the technology right now, we still have a problem with digital monetization. We don't have IP laws in Rwanda. Actually, I was sitting with a great lawyer, but please help us. We don't have IP laws. IP laws, we don't know what IP means intellectual property laws. We are still struggling. In Rwanda, we don't have CMOs, those collection agencies. And it's a big problem because we invest a lot in doing one song. So sometimes you just see a video of 3 minutes and you think that's it. There is a lot that goes behind that 3-minute video. Sometimes, it's thousands of dollars. But we just put it out there. Someone watches on YouTube, and maybe we collect some royalties here and there on DSPs, but then bars, restaurants, and radio stations, TV stations, they play it for free. That doesn't happen here. That doesn't happen anywhere. That doesn't even happen in Kenya or in Nigeria. So we still have those gaps, but I think the youth here in the diaspora have the knowledge. Actually, what we need the most, the technology to come and build those systems. And you have connections. You can be a bridge. So there is still a lot to do, and there is great, great potential. And I think our time is now.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you again for highlighting the incredible potential for Rwanda's creative industry and the role that the diaspora can play in driving that growth, especially some areas that are not as popular in that sense. All right, at this point, we would like to open the floor to questions from the audience. I've also, it just reminded me earlier today, as I was just exploring different banks that are downstairs, I got the opportunity to talk to different banks and different programs that they have and different resources, and I encourage you to do the same, but I think we have a comment from one of the banks, BRD, that has that same program. They have a program specifically, Kataza, that it sponsors youth and women in cases where collateral might be a problem, and from what I've heard, that happens sometimes, and that might hinder them. So they have a program. They have different programs catered to that. So I will let them come forward. Mr. Rangwa Wilson, I'm sorry.
Thank you so much, Pauline. As BRD, I think you saw me, they are talking about recovery. It's not about the recovery of study loans. We also finance projects in various sectors, which are the priorities of the government. Like they said, we finance agriculture, we finance manufacturing and export, we finance green energy, but specifically on youth. We are having a project called Kataza. It's a project that focuses on youth and women. Actually, 80% of the project funds are focused on women, youth, 20% on the male and boys. So we do two things. We give capital, but also we give guarantee for the same project. So we encourage you, diaspora youth and women, to come to Rwanda. As long as you present your project, which is viable, the funds are available as you can, enough the one you want. Secondly, it's not about only youth. Like I said, we finance manufacturing, export promotion, green. We've actually, we came up with a fund that is specifically supposed to provide the guarantee for whoever wants to do business in Rwanda. The first guarantee is your business when it's viable, but also we can give you guarantee for your business. So especially youth and women, they're having a challenge of having collateral. So I can promise diaspora community, forget about the challenge of having no collateral. You are covered 100%. You are just required to come to Rwanda. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arangwa. Yeah, continuing with one comment. We have a comment from Imab, if you're nearby.
Thank you so much. My name is Olivier. I'm also an educator. I have two companies that are involved in education. I've had the pleasure to work with Dickinson when President Nsengimana was there. We brought so many students from Rwanda, and they were funded at a great level. My question is to the Minister of Education, what gaps can educators in diaspora come to Bridge in Rwanda right now, and what opportunities are there for investments in education?
Well, thank you very much. I think there is quite a lot of opportunity when it comes to investing in education in Rwanda. We have a number of private schools that are in primary sector, like at the primary schools, but we don't have enough low-cost private schools. Let me explain. We have public schools and government-aided schools. Then we have high-end private schools, that 10,000, 20,000 USD per quarter. But there is a huge opportunity in between the two, where you can have schools that are affordable and still make a profit. So I think we're looking to really attract investors who are in education, who would want to establish schools in that space. And if you look at the affordability of the schools and also the means that people have, especially young professionals, I think there is a huge opportunity, something you should look into. We will be working with RDB to put together a paper on this opportunity. And we are open to actually have conversation and create a package that will be suitable for those kind of investors. So if you yourself are interested, or if you know people who are interested, please tell them about this opportunity. Thank you.
I believe we have time for one more question and we'll end the session.
Muraho. All right, so my name is Linda Caneza. I am currently the Chief Talent Officer for a sports marketing firm in Florida. I am also an entrepreneur in Rwanda in agriculture, to be exact. My question is for Coach Gael. So Coach, first of all, thank you for being such a good mentor and motivating the youth on all of your platforms. I'm one of your watchers.
Thank you.
So mu by'ukuri ni by'agaciro mu diaspora mugenzi wawe mwigiraho byinshi. I learned so much from you. So my question, as you mentioned, Rwanda is currently in a great position to benefit from what's currently going on in a world where all eyes are on Africa, Sibyo. But my question would be, or what advice would you give a diaspora like me who, last year I started a call center in Rwanda with the sports marketing firm that I'm currently working with in Florida. Nagize amahirwe yo gutanga akazi ntago ari abantu benshi ariko mu Rwanda muri call center ariko ngera ahantu where I got basically stuck due to lack of connections. I've been gone for 20 years, so I'm not too familiar with Rwanda, but I'm learning. I'm learning as as the days go on. So my question really, or advice, where can a diaspora like me start? Especially, I want to expand the call center that we have in Rwanda. We currently have under 10 employees, but with the expansion, there's a lot of paperwork that is needed that we need from Rwanda to connect with, with the company here in the US. It's just a lot of things that I could go into, but of course, I know we don't have enough time. Where can we start, basically? That's my question.
Please, just hold on to your microphone. I didn't get you. So you were saying that you're in sports marketing?
Yes, I'm a chief talent officer for a sports marketing firm in Florida.
Okay, and then you have a call center, you mean in Kigali?
Yes, natangije call center mu Rwanda kuri iyo company dukorera hano muri Florida.
Okay.
So babashe kumpa amahirwe yo kuko twari dufite guhitamo igihugu cyo hanze. As we know in America right now, a lot of corporate companies are looking for cheap labor, right? So we had an option to go to Mexico. Of course, me being Rwandese, nashize u Rwanda narabasakurije ati we have to go to Rwanda. Ngira nagize amahirwe company irabyemera. Twatangiye muri December. Ariko ndi kugenda mpura n'utubazo duke kubera lack of connections. To be quite honest, sometimes I don't even know where to start. It could be a little bit frustrating, and also to where I'm now looking, like I didn't know what I was talking about when I was fighting for them to bring it to Rwanda. So we're now having meetings like, should we have went to Mexico? So what advice could you give me, or what should I do, basically? Thank you.
Right. So actually, this is what I was, referring to. I forgot to mention about sports marketing. It's something that we lack actually also in East Africa and also in Rwanda. Professional artist management, all those things. So I will just tell you, when you're a pioneer, you're a visionary, you're starting something. You just have to hold on to it. Hold on to your vision. I wouldn't say that it's going to be easy, but sometimes when you just, and it's even an advice to everybody who's here, who's a diaspora and trying to do something in the creative or sport industry. Of course, there are going to be challenges when you come to Africa because many investors, they haven't really grasped it yet. So there are going to be those challenges. But I think what Africa really needs right now is the knowledge. The fact that you have the knowledge and the will, to me, and just hold on to it. Opportunities like this, will come. Now I'll just to get to know you. And maybe I can lead you to the next connection. But I think, when you are young and, you starting something, in your country, and there are going to be those obstacles. But an advice to everybody who's like you, just, hold on to the vision, and, opportunities will come. I always tell people, when you it's luck. I call luck when preparation meets opportunity. So just stay prepared, an opportunity like this will just happen.
Thank you, Gael. I think we have a perfect person to add some valuable insights to that as well, Michelle Moranti.
Yeah, I wanted to take the opportunity to respond to your question. I feel I needed to react to it. And maybe this is the time where lack meets opportunity. And the reason I say that is because your venture actually falls under what we call the GBS initiative, which is the Global Business Initiative. And this is under the business process outsourcing opportunity that we've identified. It's a new sector. It's been growing over the last couple of years. In Rwanda, we have about 3,500 employed young talent. And so I think that's one of the, sports marketing is one of the areas. So I just first want to congratulate you for making the case to your company. And you've made the first step. I think the hardest part was to convince your board, I'm assuming. So you've done that part. Let us do our part in supporting you and making sure that happens. Pleasure. I wanted to see if Chantal, who leads this program, Chantal, if you're in the room, she's here? Chantal is somewhere, she's hiding. If you could please stand up so she can see you. I really want to make sure that you two connect, and we'll make sure that, you don't need to have connection. I mean, you have a connection right now, but we'll make sure that we understand, what you're requiring in terms of documentation to make that happen for you. And thank you again. I really, really want to commend your efforts in doing that. Yes.
I think we get to experience firsthand the connection part of, this is part of why we come here to connect and give back.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. I would like to give a quick comment to Dr. Ensign real quick, and we will wrap the session. Unfortunately, we're out of time.
Maybe just one last point. I wanted to, again, respond to something that Gael mentioned about the IP law. This is a law that actually resides within RDB. And maybe I wanted to rectify that. It does exist. Perhaps the work we need to do, right? And we also need to do the work to create more awareness around it, make sure that artists or young talent within the creative economy knows that we care about their IP, and there's a law that protects them. And so we'll make sure that that's also out there and that people know that. Yes.
Thank you for clarifying that.
So just one last brief comment to Rwandans in the diaspora. You should be extraordinarily proud of what your country has accomplished in 31 years. I first visited your country in 1998, and it was unimaginable then to think that in a few short decades, the great leaders of your country, the one I met then and the ones who are here now, would have led to the following information that the Minister of Foreign Affairs shared. Life expectancy has doubled. You lead in gender equity, more women in parliament than any country in the world. Health care for all, universal primary education, and more. These accomplishments are extraordinary, and most people don't know. I'm sorry, most Americans think Africa is a country, right? So I say to you, don't just counter the disinformation. There's lots of ways to do that. We're using AI out in Eastern Europe to counter the Russian disinformation. Tell the story. All of you, the creative people, the educators, the diaspora, 22 states, 31 communities, take on a topic. Take on a topic and tell the story there, because what's happened in Rwanda in 31 years is miraculous, and it's because of visionary leaders like those here and President Kagame. Celebrate your country.
I love that. Tell the stories. And what better way to tell the stories than, embodying them and leaving in that. Thank you very much. Thank you all for being part of this important conversation. And let's keep the momentum going beyond this room. Thank you.